Hey guys, welcome to today's video. My name is Vienna Lay and I'm your local real estate expert in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So this is going to be one of two videos that will be talking about open houses with open house etiquette and open house for hosting for agents. We are going to be talking about open house etiquette, and this is specifically, of course, to the buyers out there. What do you as a buyer need to do, or what I would suggest you should do when you're observing an open house and shopping for a house and you're looking at an open house for a home you're interested in, as well as some etiquette and things that you should and should not do during an open house. And this way you can be a polite buyer who is looking through a home that is doing an open house while also making sure that you are getting the most benefits in the open house experience at a home that you're potentially really interested in. Things that you should definitely be preparing for. Number one, I would say, is definitely bring something where you can write your notes in. And so usually at open houses, every agent hosts open houses differently. But just so that you are prepared on your end, if you are serious about buying a home, I would strongly suggest bringing some sort of notebook or paper, as well as a pen or pencil, whatever you're comfortable writing with, and marking down notes about the home that maybe you didn't really see in the pictures when you perhaps might have looked at the house online at first. And so writing down notes, not just the physical appearance of the home, but also your impressions now that you've seen it, if you are truly interested in the house. I would strongly suggest to bring a writing utensil as well as paper or something to write with. The second thing is to open the cupboards of the home. And so this is mainly so that you can find, say for example, maybe some construction flaws that may happen from wear and tear, whether it's water damage or maybe some cracks that could show up that maybe the house might have gone through foundation problems, and whether or not they got it fixed, or maybe something with other things that hopefully is not too bad, but you should be looking out for things such as water damage, cracks, or perhaps hopefully not mold, or maybe evidence of carpenter ants, aka termites, stuff like that. Now, of course, an inspector will do these things, but just so that you know, you may want to be looking closer at the walls and the actual construction of the house while you're touring the open house. So that's definitely another thing. Now, the other thing that you can do when you tour an open house so that you are more well informed is, prior to going to the open house, if you already know that they're going to be hosting one for that house, it is a good idea to definitely look into the details of the home prior to going there. And so that really just means that if there are any updates or something mentioned about the house that maybe you could find via the description, or maybe you have your agent look into it and things like that, having these things definitely helps to keep in the back of your mind when you are going into the home and looking at it seriously. The other thing that follows up with that is also bring your agent. Ask them if they would like to go, if they can or cannot, and they can definitely help you in searching for some things that maybe you need in your home when you buy it, or perhaps help you look out for things that are important to you that maybe you may not know. And so ask your agent to come with you. That is another tip I would suggest. And say your agent can't and you decide to go anyway, of course, then of course when there is an open house happening, there is an agent that is hosting. Whether or not it's the listing agent or someone standing in for the listing agent to host the open house, ask them a lot of questions, and anything that I would say you regard as important as the buyer when you are considering buying the house, that all of the red flag things or maybe deal breaker things that you definitely want to ask you can definitely direct them to the agent who is hosting directly. And so if your buyer's agent is not with you, that is also a great thing to do as well. So getting all those details will help you when you are touring an open house, and to make sure that you are a well-informed buyer prior to possibly putting in an offer for that home. Now we're going to be moving on to some etiquette things, and you would think that it's pretty self-explanatory with an open house that buyers will know what you should and should not do at a home. Now, there are a few things that I feel like I should mention that will make you just an amazing buyer to the hosting agent for the open house. And so I wanted to mention those things really quick and rattle them off to you. An open house is not a restroom. Now, I understand if nature calls, you need to go, and you've been looking at houses all day and you're exhausted, you haven't had the time to take a break and like use the restroom. That is okay, so long as you ask the agent who's hosting first, because depending on how the house is set up for the open house or how it's set up for sale, they may not have running water for whatever reason, or maybe there is something regarding the seller, like they don't want anyone to go into the restroom to do anything. So be sure to ask permission from the agent before you use the restroom. Another thing is to not use the home as much as, say, you are living in it. Now, I know you're shopping for a house during open house, and so you want to see what living in it is like, and especially when it's furnished, it looks great, right? You want to go around and touch everything and see everything, which is totally fine so long as you're not kicking up your feet on tables or starting to sit around and use the living room as a lounge area for you and your family to sit there for a long time. If it's especially busy, it's not a place to relax. It is specifically an open house where it is to shop and look at and to consider buying. And so especially when an open house typically lasts just a couple hours, being there just to hang out is not really good etiquette. So please keep that in mind when you are visiting an open house. Be very mindful of time. The other thing that an open house isn't is it's not a playground for kids. Now, this is very tricky because I know that there are some parents out there, they're exhausted, you're bringing your kids with you to see homes and they're getting tired. It becomes very stressful, but there are situations that I've heard where kids would jump on beds, or they'll start dirtying the floors or the walls or something, and it becomes quite a mess, and the agent is the one responsible for making sure that the home is kept well during the open house times, and it is their responsibility. So to help us out a little bit, to please keep an eye on your kids, making sure they're on a fairly tight leash while you are touring the home. So those are a few things that I would like to mention. And if all else fails, just ask the agent on certain things that you might not be sure of. For example, like the trash. If you have trash and you want to throw it away, say the listing agent or the hosting agent is giving away snacks or something, then you have wrappers, or maybe you got your hands dirty, your kids' hands are dirty, and for whatever reason you can't wash your hands because there's nothing to dry. All of these situations, just ask the agent if they have a trash can available, or like a cleansing wipe of some sort or something to help you along. Or if you're thirsty, they may have refreshments. Some agents do that as well. And so when all else fails and you don't know the rules, I guess, of the open house, these are just some basic things to keep in mind when you're touring. At the end of the day, just ask the hosting agent about these things. At the end of the day, that is really all it is to make sure that you enjoy your experience at an open house. It should be fun and it should be something that is exciting, and these rules as well as tips should help you enjoy the open house experience more. So that's all I got to say for this video. It is chock full of information. Make sure to look out for the other video that I will or have posted up regarding hosting open houses for agents. And so that's information for my agents out there on some tips on how to host an open house and set up for one to make sure that it is successful and easy and manageable when hosting. So look out for that, and that's all I have for this video. If you like real estate content like this, then go ahead and subscribe. I upload videos like this every single week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!